has had the experience that they wanted to stop one thing because they knew it wasn't so good for them and they couldn't. What was it for you, Paxton?
Oh, man. Hey, you know what? I had a box of donuts,
Yeah, look.
and
Yes.
it doesn't last long around me,
Yes.
but I don't have them like I used to. But my
Yes.
daughters, because we were celebrating something, got a box of donuts, and
Yeah.
I don't let them stay around long. In 24 hours, they're gone.
They're
But anyhow, but I probably won't have any for like the next 6, 7 months. So, I've gotten a
Yes.
lot better. It used to be like every weekend.
Every single person, if it's overeating,
Yeah.
if it's over binge watching, for me it's tortilla chips. If you have tortilla chips
Oh my
around,
goodness!
it's game over. It's
I got
game over.
I got a daughter. You got something in common with? Yeah, I got.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm so,
Just, man.
and then going to Texas and having them freshly out
my
of the
goodness.
oven, just
Yes.
forget it.
I can only imagine what that was
I'm
like.
lost to this place. And
my
yeah, that
goodness.
was beautiful. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's crazy.
we all have the experience that willpower by itself sometimes
Yeah.
isn't enough. Because we really don't want to be doing that. We know it's going to be, it's going to be detrimental for our energy. We know it's
Yeah.
going to make us tired. It's going to make us gain
Yeah.
weight, and perhaps it's unhealthy. Whatever.
Look, you're stuck with me right now, and I'm loaded with donuts. So they didn't survive till 6 this morning. They were all gone, and they got them like at 9 o'clock last night. So it was
Good
like
for
gone.
you. Good
So
for you.
I'm gonna take a really good nap when we're done. We're
That's
done here
awesome.
before
and
I do
I'm
something
going
else
to
later.
give you like a little hack. I'm going to give you a hack with
Okay.
the donuts.
You
but
give
it's
me a hack.
secret.
That's
I might
pretty
keep
good.
it for the end of
That's
the
good.
show.
Oh,
I'm
okay,
gonna
all
tell
right.
you.
By the way, if anybody is going to be able to stick around, if not, watch it back later. At the end of the show, I got something for everybody. That's for Deborah, but all of you are able to take a look at it. But anyhow, we got to show some love to another network that's here that is doing well. SZTV is stopping in. Susie, who's a regular here, but she has her own network now, and I got to hit a button here. Just give me a second here. It's been a long time.
Yay!
Hey, thank you, Susie. We're gonna take a look at what Susie has mentioned here. She says, "Yes, recently I found myself once again. It took me completely changing my life, people, places, and things." That sounds like
Wow.
something my parents, my mom and dad, used to say all the time. You gotta sometimes flip everything around.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great
Absolutely.
point there, Susie. Any thought or opinion on what she mentioned there?
Yeah. Yeah. Susie, thumbs up for you, because sometimes it really takes like bold moves and bold changes to achieve like a huge goal or to like change something massive. And for me, in my opinion, like my experience of this is it's beautiful to change people and places and things, but the main thing is changing the energy beneath it, because as long as you don't change your energy, you can change everything else. You can change your house, your partner, your job, everything, and you will stay in similar situations. You will always fall back. Like if I had a rubber band stuck to here and I pull it and then bam, you just come back into your old like default mode. But the moment you change your energy, the moment you're able to really dive deep and see, for example, let's stay with that nutrition thing, like the donuts. You really, really want to not be eating the donuts, but you can't stop yourself because willpower only goes so far, and you're eventually going to eat the whole pack. And so what you need to ask yourself in that moment, and just, stop for a second, like tell them the donuts can wait just a minute. I'm going to have them all, but I'm just want to answer that question. What feeling am I aiming for? What am I looking for? What do I want?
Oh,
And then
I
you're
want to
gonna-
answer that one. I like that
Yeah.
one. I want to answer. So here we go on the donuts.
Yeah.
So donuts around 9 o'clock, and I know I got a show with you. So sometime between 9 o'clock last night and having the show with you, I didn't want to see any donuts when I was done. And I had a choice, 3 choices: eat them, give them away, or throw them away.
Yeah.
And what I wanted to experience with those donuts is that I know I'm not going to get any more until about another 6 or maybe even 9 months from now. So
that?
I just don't eat them like that anymore. I just
Okay,
don't.
but that is like very practical reasons. But what does Paxton feel like when he's eating those donuts? What is the feeling?
Honestly, I'll tell you this: the feeling when I eat the donuts,
Yeah.
is that they taste nasty. They literally taste nasty because
So you
I
don't
haven't
even
had
like
them.
the taste of it.
I don't even like the taste of them.
Yeah.
And so
But
every
what is
time
so
I eat them,
attractive about them? And because
no,
if I see
there's
something
nothing.
nasty that I'm not gonna have for 9 months, I'm like,
No.
that's amazing. And I don't,
Yeah,
I could even not have
the
you for
reason
9 years.
why,
Yeah.
that's what I think about the donuts. The motivating reason why I ate the donuts
Yes.
is because I know what my daughters had in mind when they gave them to me out of love to have the donuts because they know I don't eat them.
Okay.
So
Okay.
so for me, it's as close as I'm going to get right now to them having a wedding. So, to having a wedding cake because they
Wow.
don't plan on getting married. So I
Oh,
literally treat it
wow.
like that when we joke
Okay.
around. I go like,
Okay.
okay, there's no guy here. I mean, they're
Okay.
single.
And now if
So
I
it's like
had like half an
this is your
hour,
wedding. The only thing
okay.
missing is me dancing and being goofy and
Okay,
putting up their baby
awesome.
pictures on a big screen or something like that.
Awesome.
No, it's a whole process. It's
Yeah.
not that moment. And it's
Yes.
not anything that I'm going to get in that moment
Yes.
because it'll be a long time before I eat like that
Yes.
again.
So,
If that makes any sense. And
it makes total sense, and we haven't had like a lot of time together.
no,
If I
no,
had
hey, you
like
know,
in a
we
private
would you say
Zoom
we
room,
have family conversations is what you and I
yeah,
have. So
it
to
would
just
be different.
because
But
everybody's
what
watching.
what I hear, there's the donut, but then there's the whole story
school.
attached to the donut. And
Oh
the
no,
story,
yeah, there
the
is.
story is so much more than a donut can ever
Yes.
be. It's like the daughters and the love and the sharing and the, want to do something good for Papa and just bringing him some donuts, and it's the closest to marriage. So I see this huge story, and actually you like project that story into the donut.
And
But
you know
that's,
what? So interesting
yeah,
about that, I'll just tell you this
yes.
much. There was a time where there was no story. And what you're saying makes sense because I remember being that way. I had that external and, ooh, it's going to quiet something. But
Yes.
now those things have been quieted. So now when I eat the donut, hopefully everybody can comfortably hear me. If anybody's listening or Susie and I don't sound right with my mic, let me know. So now when I eat it, I just told you, I don't even, and it doesn't even taste right.
So-
It's not a part of my taste buds now.
Yeah,
So
but
now when I went to
then-
eat it,
Yeah.
I'm literally making fun that, hey, I'm eating your
Okay.
wedding cake. I'm eating your wedding cake essentially.
Yeah,
Because and so it's kind of a running joke per se in the family.
That's sweet. But you see now, and I'm more focused and more interested because my initial question was, do you have something you'd like to stop but you're unable to? And you said yes, donuts.
Mm-hmm. I'm a
So
look-
that's not entirely true. The
No, not
thing-
really. No, because I
Yeah.
really already stopped them.
Exactly. But you can still connect to the feeling you had when you were eating them to like block something out and to get something
We're having
like
some
a
fun
warm
here.
feeling.
I'll give you another one. You mentioned one, and I was going to jump on it, but we went down this road. And everybody, you're watching this. Hey, remember the first time we talked? So that's kind of what we're doing right now. You and I, the first time we talked, what was it, like 3 or 4 hours, whatever. Anyhow, so I'm just telling her stuff. So you mentioned binge watching.
Yes.
Okay, so you binge watch per se. All right,
Me?
right. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I don't even watch
no,
TV
okay.
ever.
Okay, got
not
it.
even
right.
movies.
So
not
that's
even
what I was going to
Netflix,
say because I
nothing.
remember you not watching TV. So
No,
anyhow,
nothing.
so
That
I
was
like
just an
I
example.
like binge watching when I have time on a
Yes.
Saturday, black and white movies that I used to watch with my mom and dad
Yeah, wow.
and my older brother. All three of them are dead
Yes.
because it soothes that feeling of the memories of doing that with them.
Yes.
So the reason I mentioned that to you is because I had a therapist on the show and she brought up something that she does similar to what I'm saying to you right now. And I wasn't doing what she was doing or what I'm doing right now.
Yes.
And she said she would tell her clients to do that. That, because they would miss that person because that person is dead.
Yeah.
And so they would do that. And now she mentioned to me, and now I can see what she was saying. She said, you'll start to see certain things in the show or whatever that you never paid attention to before or other things because you liked something because somebody else did. And now you like it because you like it. And it has even more meaning to you because you had one memory, but now you have new memories. And so it was just a whole, I know you said we can't spend all day together here, but
no, but
I
that's
just find
awesome.
it interesting when it comes to binge watching. You said
Yes.
that, And I remember that entire experience. It took me a long time to start to understand the importance that not only is there energy when we interact with one another, or even when we're by ourselves in private, but there's a story behind every moment of energy. Now, nobody has to agree with that. Nobody has to understand that. I'm just mentioning something to you that I've come to learn from doing these shows, is that there usually is a story that comes with somebody's energy one way or the other. Like you said at the beginning, when you said a person needs to look at themselves, and you weren't trying to be mean. You're not a mean person. You're just highlighting to the audience, take it off the toxic, whatever label goes to the other person, and let's see inside what is it that I can per se work on.
Yes.
Understanding that they need to be accountable for whatever they need to do.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I was having a half dad moment, but I'm not fully awake anyhow. So
No, don't worry about it. But I really
if you
want to say
understand
one thing, because if you have like, on and off, like on Saturdays, you really like to watch like old black and white movies, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I'm talking about addictions in your life where you like, every single evening you're binge watching for 4 hours, going to
Holy
bed at
wow.
1 at night, or like smoking a pack of cigarettes, or like having too much wine, or like eating the whole fridge because you get like really hungry at like 10. Those are the like addictive patterns I'm talking about. Now, if you say, it makes me feel good when I watch those movies on Saturday, please do that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But there is
Hey,
a way.
I just want to say real quick before you
Yes.
go on, if there's anybody here that's listening to this or watches this, and you happen to know somebody that needs to watch this, share it with them. Or if they want to contribute in one way or another, reach out to Deborah Elum on Instagram, of course, TikTok. Yes, correct. Make sure, correct me.
I'm on TikTok at the moment.
Yeah, I was going to say TikTok as well as on YouTube. But make sure you go to her website as well. Before you go on, I got to put this up. Please make sure you look at the screen if you're watching it. If you watch it back later or whatever the case may be, Deborah_pure_magnetic. Feel free to reach out. And you don't have to agree 1,000% with me or with Deborah. Just if you're struggling with addiction of any kind, and it consumes your life, please make sure you reach out and get some serious help and some counseling that you may need. But if you're struggling with something, make sure you have a serious discussion with Deborah as well. I'm sorry, Deborah, I was going to say that earlier and I got to talking about myself, how rude I am. Please, Deborah, go ahead. You were going to say.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so the question you asked me like just before this was, how can someone take the mirror and like look at themselves to kind of dive into the patterns they've been living? Is that what you were asking me?
Yes.
Okay. So, those patterns, they've become so habituated to you. You're so used to being the way you are, thinking the way you think, doing the things you do, being a people pleaser maybe without noticing it. And you're not going to recognize that that might be problematic, or that that might be, bringing in different consequences in your life that you'd rather not be living. So the most like valuable advice I can give to someone is find someone with whom you can walk that path, with whom you can go through a process of really becoming aware. Because I always like consciousness, I always have an example, like I say, like a goldfish glass, like an aquarium. And this is your consciousness, and you're swimming in there like a goldfish. And now there are things that you want in your life, maybe, a partnership that is really respectful and smooth, or, the success in your life. You want the physical fitness. You want all of these things that are outside of your consciousness. You're not going to get them by like swimming in that little, goldfish glass. And it's so difficult because most people misunderstand and they think, oh, I'm just going to need to grab outside and just get those things and get them in here. But that's not the way it works. The way it works is that you need to expand what you know, you need to expand the way you think, the way you feel, and you need to become that person that has, included everything that he wants into that consciousness. So you need to become the bigger version of you in order to, break free from the little patterns that you've been living in and naturally have all of these things that this conscious person would have in their life. So
How does a person who, I'm going to put 3 questions into one, and you know where I'm coming from because I told you this before the show. Okay, here we go. Person doesn't have support. Person feels that they don't have courage, because I love when you said that at the beginning. And another person feels, well, I've tried it, but it didn't work. Now, I gave you 3 different scenarios because I told you I have tons of questions from over 5 years.
yeah.
So I'm thinking of 3 different people right now. That's their scenario. But what you just said is excellent to hear. How can individuals coming from those different directions make that work, what you just said?
Exactly my very first words of this complete talk that we're having.
I
You need
understand.
the willingness to do it.
Yeah.
Like,
I
stop
knew you were going to
telling
say
yourself you've
I
tried stuff
I knew
already.
you were going to say it. Yeah. Yeah.
Stop
Yeah.
telling yourself that you can't do it because you're not supported.
Yeah.
What you see, like when you look at me, for example, you see like, okay, she seems to have her stuff together. Maybe you think that. But then what you don't see
Don't break my bubble. Don't burst my
Yes.
bubble. Okay, go ahead.
What you don't see in people is the path they've walked, the tears
yeah.
they've cried, the hardship they've went through, the commitment they've had, the discipline
Yeah.
they showed.
Yeah.
And people, in this whole world where we can just, fly places super quickly, order from Amazon,
Instant,
get it the
instant,
next
yeah.
morning. It's
Yeah.
like instant.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
people tend to want the goal, but they don't want the path. And it's all about the path, because it's not about achieving this milestone, this new job, this new partner. It's about the person you become on the way. You transform, you morph into this bigger version of you. And there's nothing wrong with you. But if you're wanting things that are on a different level, you're going to have to get up there, And there's a way.
So when you say expand, I love the way you brought that word into this conversation. So they're going to have to expand. That means they need, maybe, correct me if I'm wrong, they have to look at or maybe they themselves are doing to restrict themselves from that expansion. Maybe.
Well, that is very mind-based. What it
Okay.
actually is, is I have a whole training where you, first of all, of course, I give input. How does that work? How does that work with your neuroscience, with your neural network? What do we have to, there are data pathways that we need to
Yes. Correct.
down, and
Right.
others that we need to activate, and that's a training. You need to repeat that over and over and over again. But then what we do is we drop into our bodies where you feel in your heart, and then
Yes.
you start becoming really trustful and just connecting with that new state of consciousness. And
Hold that thought. Hold that
connection-
thought there for a second. Trustful
Yes.
of what?
Sorry.
We become trustful of. I'm trying not to say it. I'm trying to ask the question the right way. To be trustful, and then we settle down. Trustful of what?
Well, of everything, but first of all, when you're in my room, when you're when I'm
Yeah.
your mentor, first of all, you need to have trust in me, that
Got it.
I can hold the space for you.
Got it.
Then you need to have trust in you, which is the much more important thing, that you can do it, and that
Got it.
that change that you're looking for is actually there for you, and that is actually waiting for you to finally step up.
And that's the
And-
willingness, right? The willingness to go through that process with someone, and
Yes.
also allowing yourself, I'm going to pick me, allowing myself, my body to go through that process instead of interrupting it.
Exactly. Because the ego, the mind, is always going to
Yeah,
say
I was gonna-
exactly
that was
the
my
things
next-
you just
yeah.
said, but I have
That was
no
my next-
support, and
How long is this
going
gonna
to
take?
How long
Yeah,
is it
yeah.
going to take?
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
done this already. It didn't
Yeah,
work.
I don't see it working. Yeah.
Exactly. So, when is change coming?
Do they
And,
know? They start losing trust in you, and that, well, she's spending more time with that person. I don't get it. That kind of thing. Yeah.
So, your mind is going to play all kinds of tricks on you. And the emotional mastery is to hear that and to say, I'm doing it anyway. You know, it's like, for example, you have daughters.
I was trying not to
and-
laugh when you said that because
Yeah,
I know how
and-
you talk. So say
Exactly.
that to just
because I'm so sure.
don't trust
I'm
it,
gonna say
right?
An example. Paxton is at a wedding with his 2 teenage girls. Yeah, when they were teenagers.
Teenage. Oh, okay. I thought you
When
meant
they
no.
were
Okay, yeah.
teenage.
Yes.
And you danced. And they said
Yes.
Dad, this is so embarrassing, please. And you said
Hey,
I love that I'm embarrassing,
dance
but I'm
pretty
gonna
good.
do it anyway. I'm gonna shake up a groove. And so there are situations that everyone can relate to. Perhaps like someone that you love, like your child, saying like, "Oh my God, this is so cringe," and you're like, "Okay, I'm gonna do it anyway. It
That's
doesn't
funny.
matter." So
Yeah.
this is exactly the way you treat your ego. You listen. You're like, "Okay, I get it," but I'm
I love
still
it.
doing it.
I love it.
I'm still doing it.
Yeah. And
There's
that
no
part of
ego
I'm still doing
hating.
it,
Yeah.
that part of I'm still doing it, that can become a new pattern, correct?
Which
and
one?
I'm still
still
doing
doing
it.
it?
Yeah. That can become
the
a part of the
pattern-
new pattern.
The pattern could
Instead
be,
of
I
the
stick
old
to what I
pattern of
feel
listening to the
inside.
ego.
Exactly. The pattern can be like,
Yeah.
it would be a very dysfunctional pattern if you say like, every time someone tells me not to do something, I'm going to do it just because.
It's because, yeah, right.
Yeah, no,
that's a whole nother
not-
show, but yeah,
Exactly.
right.
But if you just, are really embodied in your truth, and it
Yeah.
doesn't matter, if you have like out of like 10 people, you have 9 no sayers.
Yeah,
and you say,
yeah, yeah.
okay, thanks for your opinion.
Yeah,
I'm
hey,
the CEO
appreciate
of
it.
this vessel,
Yeah,
and
got
I'm
it.
still gonna go.
Yeah.
Because I feel it.
Yeah.
So this is like a big part of like starting to trust the person you're working with is going to kind of lend you the trust for that little like time phase where you do not yet have it. Like me, for example, when I like just started off, I had mentors around me that believed more in me than I believed in myself. So I kind of borrowed their trust. And I said like, okay, I'm going to try to look at myself through your eyes because that picture is way better than the way I view myself.
I see. I just have flashbacks of many conversations we've had in private. Anyhow, what I was going to say is you are an exceptionally talented person, and I got to get back to the chat here just briefly. And if Susie, if you're gone, I understand, but I have to. Susie mentioned something. You probably already saw it. I put it up on the screen. She said, "I thought it would break my heart."
Oh, wow.
Nope. Energy feels freed. A huge releases is what she mentioned, and of course, she told us that the microphones are working fine.
Susie,
Our sound
that's so
sounded good.
beautiful. I'm so
Isn't
happy
it, though?
for you. Yeah, it really is. It's so
Very
beautiful.
happy for her. Very, very
Yes.
happy for her. What I wanted to say about you and I doing this today, I didn't touch on it before we had the show start, but when we just talk, I've got some great feedback. This is not our first time doing it like on YouTube. We did this on Instagram. We just were never doing it on purpose, where you had no notes, I had no notes, and we just talked. Today was the first time me not writing down what you said. And let me tell you why. Because, notes gather, they start to have a library of stuff
Yes.
on you and in, I don't know, over 800 and some odd guests that I've had in the time frame. And I said, you know what? Today, I'm not going to take notes, and I'm going to try to remember what she said. It's just that your opinion, when you give it, the audience, the feedback, when I go to do my research, I do research on every person that comes on, every show, every piece of content before we put it on and after everything. And the audience, and I did touch on this with you before the show, they love it when you give your opinion on something, because you're not judgmental in the sense of what they're accustomed to, and you're able to tell them how to apply. You're laughing. Don't go there. So you're able to help them apply what you're highlighting, and they feel like they're talking to a big sister or a cousin or something like that when they
that
hear
is
it
so
from you.
awesome.
So here, I'm going to
Yes.
run a few things down. I'm going to do 3.
But please
and
have
then-
a look at Susie's beautiful comment first. She says,
Oh, I didn't
"Love
even see
the
that. Oh, she's
goldfish
back. Oh,
analogy.
here she is.
It's all about the path." Thank you, Deborah. Thank you, Paxton. Thank you so much, Susie, for
Thank
hanging
you,
in there
Susie.
for being
Everybody
here.
go to SZTV
You're awesome.
Network. Yes, Susie's going to be back. Everybody's going to be back. I'm sorry. Let me do this real quick. Everybody that's been writing me, I'm still alive. My daughters are fine. Thank you so much. Sherlock the cat is fine too. He didn't get COVID. And we're all doing well. And everybody that you've asked about, they're all coming back. Okay. So, and now that I've got my voice back and some energy back, everything's going to be fine. And we're still rolling and on schedule for 2025 and other stuff. So get that out of the way real quick. But this, Susie, the goldfish analogy, she says she loves that. I do too. I want to get your opinion on a few things here. So yes, everybody, you guys will see Susie soon. Just get that out of the way real quick too. Give your opinion. Here we go. Let's do this. Give your opinion on this. What's more important? That a person recognizes that they have an old pattern, that they accept that they're in an old pattern, or that they find out why they have the old pattern?
Well, to recognize that you're in an old pattern would be the same thing as saying, okay, I have this addiction, so what?
Got it. I see.
It all depends on the energy. If you on the other hand, you accept that you have the old pattern, it can be on the one side, it can be very healing to just meet yourself where you are. But on the other side, if you accept it because you're saying, and I have no power to change this, it's always been this way, it's like
Just
this,
give
it
up.
will always be,
I'm gonna quit.
it can be super dysfunctional. And the other thing you said, why do I have this pattern, is like, yes, it can be interesting to like dive into
Who
that,
to
but
blame,
then-
in other words, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
but then where are you? You're up here. You're like, thinking about scenarios. And at the root of it, we're all innocent, Your dad is innocent, your mom is innocent. Like everyone who you've met on the way, even if they've brought you tears and trouble and hardship. But still, to connect with that innocence and to just accept, look, this is what we have. This is what we're dealing with.
There it
and
is.
I am exactly vulnerable, just raw. I'm willing to like show myself vulnerable and raw, and I am willing to face myself. I'm willing to give it what it takes to get myself out of this. I really want this for my life, for my children, for my partner, even for the community. I want to I know so many people who are, have kind of been like wrestled to the ground by their outer circumstances, and they're like beautiful shining lights hiding underneath a pattern of self-destruction. So when I see like these kind of people and I recognize that, and I'm like, if you got yourself out of there, do you even know how far your light would ripple? Because you'd be an example to your community, to your children. And it's only like one decision away. And a decision like taken with more power as the traumatic event or the pain that you've been through is something that can change your life.
I have so much I want to tear into what you just said, and we just don't have a day long enough to do it. The words, the word illustration that you just gave in describing that is beautiful. Everybody, rewind it, and listen back to it, because I got some more for you. Okay, so that was one. I got two more for you. Here we go. The second one. If a person is struggling in shifting their focus from the old pattern to creating a new pattern, a productive pattern, and they want to do it, you already said it, but what is the first thing that they need to do, and what is the second thing that they need to do?
So, well, if they're having trouble shifting from like an old pattern to a new pattern, like what it feels like for me is that they really need support with someone walking side by side with them. So what I'm going to say here is because that's an excellent question, Paxton. What I'm going to say here is...
It's from a viewer. It wasn't from me, but go ahead.
But they need someone to help them to step into their responsibility.
Got it.
That that's what needs to happen, because no one's going to come, right? So if you're, for example, in a coaching with me, I'm going to be side by side, like shoulder by shoulder with you.
Got
I'm
it.
not
Right.
going to
Yeah.
mother you. I'm not going to feel like pity for you. I'm not going to, soothe your pain over and over and validate what you've been going through. Of course, I will do that. But then comes a time where I'm going to say, and now we're going to both stand up and we're going to walk. And if we're walking through fire, that's even better reason to keep walking, right? To not stand still.
Yeah, if you don't want to,
if you don't want
have
to
a
burn
burn
down to the
problem,
core.
yeah.
Yes.
You're gonna get
So,
burned.
Like, it's all gonna actually, so that's the first thing, is responsibility, right? Just
Yes.
step into your responsibility. And the second thing is gonna surprise you, perhaps, playfulness. Just be easy about it. Laugh some. Don't take it so seriously. You're not getting out of this life alive anyway. So, I mean, you might as well have fun just dancing with life and just,
I love when you're on the show. That is so.
Yeah.
That is so you. That's the right
And I
answer.
love being on here with you because
You're
we
so
remind
playful, too.
ourselves to be
You're
playful
oh
as
yeah.
well.
Oh man. Yeah.
But some people, when they're walking on their path, are like, do you know that, what's the name? Winnie the Pooh. And there's like the donkey, ee-ah, and he walks
Oh,
like,
yeah.
like this. Don't
Never heard you
be
make that noise
ee-ah.
before.
Yeah.
It's just-
Don't be ee-ah
Yeah.
on your way. Like, be Tigger.
Be Tiggered.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, people, you got to Tigger up. Go get yourself. Go to Toys R Us, whatever. Go to some toy store. Call around before you want to drive around and find out where there's a Tigger, and you get a Tigger, and you go and subscribe to Deborah's. Man, I have been. I've been on
Channel.
vacation. Thank you to her channel. And
Yes.
you send her a message on her channel. You take a picture of you and Tigger, and you
Yes.
send her and said, "I took
Well,
your
if you-
advice."
If
and
you
start
do that,
becoming
then
more playful.
You're like getting a super deal on my VIP coaching. If you're doing that,
There
would
you
be
go. There you
awesome.
go. You sign up
Yes.
for her VIP coaching, you guys.
Absolutely.
And hey, you know what? If you're gonna go spend a bunch of money, don't take it the wrong way, on your hair, on your car, detailing your car, whatever. Just, you know what? Go wash your car by hand for a while. Pay for the VIP coaching, and you'll have a totally different pattern. And then you can go ahead and call up a guy to come to your house and do your car for you or something like that, and
Yeah.
celebrate. Or
Yeah.
go eat donuts like I do once a year. But
And
what I
as
was
well,
going to say,
Paxton, yeah,
so-
but things just, when you start,
Man.
I don't know if you've ever had that experience of like leaning over the edge of like doing an investment for yourself, and then you decide to do it, and all of a sudden it's like there's a red carpet rolling out under your feet, and things just show up, like things just go well, and
yeah,
you just,
I know what you're talking
there's
about. Yeah,
abundance
that's
coming
another
in
show in
from-
itself. Matter of fact, yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
because once you show the
Oh, yeah.
universe, you know what, universe, I'm all in, and this check is going to prove that I'm really all in. Then the
There's a
universe
momentum.
is watching.
There's a
That's
momentum. There's a
Absolutely.
momentum that begins to pick up. Matter of fact, I'm going to do this now that you mentioned that. Before I say the third one, this involves Susie, for example. I'm not going to get too much into it right now because I'm going to save it for Susie when she comes on. But Susie has a life story of what you just said. That when she turned her attention toward herself,
Yes.
things just start moving.
Start moving. Start
But
happening.
then there are moments, and Susie, if you can address it if you want, before we're gonna leave in a little bit because I'll play the video at the end. But Susie began to highlight. She don't want to feel like she's not talking to certain people or doing certain things. She's just in a. What did you say at the beginning? She's just in that level. You did that at the beginning.
Yes.
She's leveling.
She's leveling up,
Yes.
leveling up her energy.
She's not trying to leave or be
Yes.
cold or mean. She just
Yes.
feels she needs to do this,
Yes.
but was feeling guilt and shame. Does that to a measured degree? But then her
She's-
energy changed.
So she's leaving situations, but
Yeah.
at the same time feeling guilt and shame.
You guys should talk, is what I'm saying. You guys should,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
what you're saying applies to her where she is now in life.
Yes.
She's moved away from so much. So it's, I'm not saying her in particular, but people we've talked to with this channel, they began to mention that they're past that angry stage about this person. So they don't hate the videos and the people that made them in the past that helped them. They're just not in the same space anymore.
Yes.
And now they just want to be playful and happy.
Yes.
And they're not triggered or anything like that. And Susie's like that as well. And so there are a number of people that are in a certain stage where others still need that information that helped them 5 stages back. So it's just, Susie is here. I'm talking about you. I didn't know whether I had to be
That
careful what I'm
starts
saying,
happening.
Susie. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
that's it. She said it.
Yes.
You see, just like my father would say, a guy takes, he would tell me, he says, I said, Dad, why didn't you have anything to say sometimes when Mom is saying, you just say, yep. And he said, because a woman can say it in 10 words and it takes me 400 words to say it. He says, so what's the point of me saying anything? I just let her say it and agree. So it's the same thing. Susie's saying life starts happening. If you're listening to this right now, that in a nutshell is one of the things that we're trying to highlight to you. But we got to go back to what Deborah said at the beginning. You have to want it. You have to want life to happen instead of just saying, when is it going to happen? And this is why it didn't happen. There comes a point that you could talk about the flat tire, or you could get the spare tire out and change it and get on the road
That's a
again.
good analogy.
And if you get on the road again, I promise you, you're not going to eat donuts all the time. You're not going to sit down and eat ice cream all the time. There's so much more to breathe outside your house and take in than inside. Stop. I just caught it in the corner of my eye. Susie, I see you laughing because you know how I think weird things in my head, my analogies. But this was really good. I do have one more for you. And I hope you're ready for this. Okay. You mentioned about having somebody you kind of go through this process of growing and expanding with. What if somebody has a problem creating new rituals to empower themselves because they find reasons to make excuses? In other words, there's always an excuse why they can't move forward.
Yes.
What's your opinion and thoughts on that? That's the last one.
Okay, no problem. First of all, I want to say, like, my opinion really doesn't matter because what
You're gonna say,
what really matters
Right, go
is
ahead.
like, to tune in with your own truth. But if it rings true, I will offer my opinion on this, and then you can just see, okay, that is, you are. How can I put this? You are
Just put it.
entitled to life, but you're not entitled to a good life. It's your choice. You can choose to suffer. Like life, God, the universe loves you so unconditionally. No one has to suffer, but if that is your decision, life will love you unconditionally. You may suffer, but now you have to realize there's no one coming. There is no one coming to save you. No one's going to come and like see who has been unfair to you, get you out of your situation. You're going to need to take responsibility. If you are really ready to change, you will find a way to do it. If you're not ready to change, not ready, then you will find excuses. That's just the way it works. So as long as you're still looking like Google search for excuses all over the place, it doesn't matter. It doesn't make you a worse person. And, there's nothing to judge about that. But the fact is that you're not ready for change. That's my opinion.
See, but I don't know what it is. You just went totally nice because I've heard you give this opinion when we're not on camera, and it sounds totally different.
Oh,
So-
that's not nice. I'm so no. Then tell me what have I said? What have I said off camera? I want to hear. Because that's the exact
You know
thing I
what?
would tell a friend.
I know you would. You would
That's
you would
the
say
exact
it. You would
thing.
say
I
it that
don't-
way,
I
and
don't
then
mask-
you would say they're just not ready, Paxton. They're just
Yeah.
not ready.
Yeah.
And that's what
But
you said
what
right
I
now.
said.
But you
That's
said it in
what
a very
I said.
yeah. It is
But
what you
I
said.
need to give it some
Why are they?
explanation.
No, you're right. You're right. I'm just messing with you. So why are they not ready? Not. This is not people on the outside saying that. This is people that have written us and talked to us. They're asking me, and I'm the wrong person to ask.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to just answer like a dad. You're just not ready. You're not ready. Okay. So this is where you are right now. But this is where you need to be I'm going to use your term now, expand. So why are they still saying to themselves, so why am I not ready? Why am I not ready? Why are they looking? They shouldn't be looking
Yes.
outside themselves for that answer. Based upon what we've just been talking about,
Yeah.
you've been highlighting, they need to look inside.
But they are exactly where they need to be.
Got it.
You know, if
Got
a
it.
student is ready, the teacher will appear. Once you're ready, you will be able to soak up like everything you need to know to create like the life of your dreams. But and there's nothing more powerful than like an idea whose time has come. So you really need to know that. And on this path, there's only you. You like it's very I don't want to say arrogant, but it's kind of arrogant to think you know it better for someone else. So, for example, when someone shows up for me and they're like, I'm not ready or I'm finding excuses and everything,
Right.
who am I to say, this is so wrong, you should be ready? What do I know?
Absolutely.
I
I'm
don't
glad you
know.
said it. I am so glad you said
It might be
that.
their like soul path to just
Yeah.
not be ready for the next 50 years. And that's okay. It
That's
needs
okay.
to be okay.
Yeah.
It needs
Yeah.
to be okay. So, and
I
it
love
gets
it.
very
Love it.
difficult. And I'm not saying it's easy because, for example, if you have a parent or a child or a sibling or
Mm-hmm.
a partner even that is not ready and that is just standing in his own way and has like self-sabotage and everything, it's
Absolutely.
not easy.
Yeah.
But the real unconditional thing to do is love
Yeah.
them where they are.
Love it.
Just let them be.
Yeah. That's all an individual can do is let them be.
Yes.
Because if not, what is it? You go to try to save somebody drowning, and the next thing you know, they're pulling you down too.
Well,
So
or it's like helping an elderly lady cross the street and she didn't even want to go there. Like, what are you doing? She was going the other
where
way.
did you just say? She was going a totally different direction.
She was going a different way, and you're all proud and like every day a
Come
good
on.
deed. And
She's
she's
going
like
like-
hitting you with her umbrella. She's like, "What are you?"
I'm trying to get over there, Paxton, and
Yeah.
you're dragging me
What are
over
you
here. What
doing?
is wrong
Yes.
with you? What's wrong with you? All
So
right.
don't
I-
do that. If people
Don't do
come
that.
up
Yeah,
to
there you
you,
go.
if people come up to you and they're like, Paxton, I'm committed to this. I really want to change.
Yeah.
Is there anything you can do? You say, yes, Deborah Elum, here you go. Like, contact her. You can help, of course. But if someone's saying like, Paxton, I get everything you're saying, but this actually doesn't apply to me because I've
Yeah,
already
right.
done it and it doesn't work.
It doesn't
then
work,
you just
yeah,
say,
yeah.
fine, good job.
Hey,
All
yeah.
the best.
Hey, all you can do is try. You tried. I'm so proud of you. Look, here we go. It's time for us to say goodbye to you. I'm going to say goodbye first to all of you by reminding you of a few things because I have been trying to get through all my emails and get through everything, everybody. But I was really thrown for a loop because I didn't know that Deborah was like in Texas. That's not that far from, us, To know that we could, but I had COVID. You couldn't be near me and I couldn't be near you. I was quarantined. But anyhow, what I was going to say is I have something for Deborah also after that. So the end of this show is going to be seemingly longer than the actual whole show we just did. But you can stick around or not. You can come back later. But Deborah's going to keep her mic on, right? Because I warned you
Yes,
ahead of time.
Can't wait. You guys, you were awesome.
You may
Thank
not.
you so much,
Okay.
Susie,
Yeah.
and for being here and for
Yeah.
being active in the chat. And you guys, if there's anything I can share with you, if you want to have the contact details of my Texan Qigong trainer, I highly recommend. So just contact me so I'm in touch with you and that I kind of know like who's going to be contacting him. That would be awesome. And if you need any assistance on your path, Susie's just saying, I wanted it so badly, I just didn't have the roadmap. And that is beautiful. So if you need a roadmap, if you need like someone by your side to walk and give you trust and responsibility and, hope for everything that's coming and just realize the potential you've been sitting on and that's been waiting for you to actually level up. So if you need any assistance with that, please be in touch and I can't wait to connect with you the next time.
All right.
Bye-bye,
You ready
you
for the
guys.
torture? You ready for the torture?
Is it going to be torture? I have no idea
you
what
know
it is
what?
going to be. Oh my
Hey.
God, I know you, but I'm kind of scared now.
What are you scared about?
Are you
It's
going to
only
put up
me.
another picture of me like 3 years ago with red lipstick? Please. Where
No
did
comment.
you find that?
No comment.